Hey man,
Hi, man.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. This whole thing is wild, but it's fun.
I know it's a kind of um, it's an experiment.
Yeah, I think it'll work. I
Hopefully,
think it'll
hopefully it
work.
works.
I've spoke to some people that want to do one if it does work.
Hmm.
So I think maybe some distribution pals might do one, and some other drum pals if we can get it all hooked up. So
Yeah,
that should be good fun.
this is going
Um,
to take a little while for us, I think, to figure out as well. As if figuring out how to do a podcast wasn't hard enough, we now need to figure out how to do a podcast when we're not in the same room.
yeah, but hey, many people do it, don't they?
Yeah, that's true.
I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. We're trying to do things like record audio separately. Um, so I have, like, you can see a big microphone in front of Adam's face. I have one of these, just as a way to, because these things are really glitchy.
Hmm.
I find that these can be, it's like having a Skype conversation and your internet connection drops out.
Yeah, which could realistically happen at any given moment.
Yeah,
But we'll soldier on.
soldier on indeed. We're going to talk about drummers that have a sound, because
Yes.
that was pitched to us, wasn't it?
Pitched to us by a customer, I believe, a
It
couple of weeks ago
was.
before the war.
So, there will probably be some sort of weird drummer loving,
Yeah.
as you and I fan over certain people. But I
I
think,
don't doubt that. I'm kind of hoping for that, to be honest.
yeah, I mean, the obvious one. I think the obvious one we talked about in the shop anyway was Dave Grohl was immediately like,
Immediately.
yeah, just whatever situation Dave finds himself in, he has a sound.
It absolutely does. I have told this story before on the podcast, but I'm going to tell it again because it's very relevant right now. It wasn't relevant when I told it the first time, but I'm going to tell it now. I saw the Foo Fighters recently in Glasgow, and Taylor came out from behind the kit and sung Under Pressure, Queen.
Okay.
So at that point, they were all doing the kind of band kind of introductions. Everyone was getting their moment in the sunshine. And Dave Grohl hopped behind the kit. So what was really cool about that was he was just rocking away, just doing his thing. And then Taylor Hawkins said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave Grohl," and he did the opening fill of "Smells Like Teen
Amazing.
Spirit," like "Bradum, da bradum, da bradum, da bra," and I swear it sounded exactly like the record.
I'm gonna try and find a Google, like an internet clip of that.
You should try it honestly because it blew me away.
I
I
bet
thought instantly I was right in the middle of Nevermind.
that's amazing.
Do you know it was amazing, but the most frustrating part was I think the whole crowd thought they were gonna do the full song
Okay.
because as
Okay.
soon as they played the fill, everybody it was like in tandem, everyone just went nuts.
That's totally. Do you know what, man? I didn't think about this before, but he's also got total drum hooks, eh?
Yeah, big time.
So if you listen to like In Bloom,
Hmm.
the intro to that, the fill-ins and stuff that he plays,
Yeah,
all that stuff is just heart-shaped box and stuff. All that stuff. It's all like you could take the songs away and it would still sound like him.
big time,
Um,
huge. And I
yeah.
would argue the same for Taylor as well. I think Taylor is quite distinctive.
Right. I don't disagree with you. I don't absolutely. I think we talked about this before. Like, do you think like early Taylor and the Foos versus new Taylor, you'd still be able to tell it's still him?
I think so. I
Right.
think you'd be able to tell. In the same way, I think if situation was different and Kurt Cobain was still alive, I still think "Smells Like Teen Spirit" would sound like it did back in the 90s.
Yeah, I think you're
No,
probably
I
right.
mean you could argue that was because of the whole band had a sound, but even when you watch the Foo Fighters documentary, the dude who recorded them, I can't remember his name. His name was just
Butch
totally
Vig.
escaped me. Butch Vig, thank you. He even said like they had like four different drummers, and as soon as Dave walked in, that was it.
Oh, really?
He was like as soon as Dave did that fill, it was like this is it. This
Wow.
is the band. Like
Cause that's right. Cause Nevermind was the first album he did, wasn't it?
yeah, it was yeah. Which fun fact, the songs were all written. The songs were all produced. So see the way they are on record, they were
Uh-huh.
like that from writing stage,
Oh wow,
and literally they just re-recorded it, but with Dave on the drums.
that's pretty
Like so,
amazing.
all the drum parts were still there. I found
So-
this out recently.
Did he record them like verbatim?
I think so. I've not listened to them in a long time, but it's like the original stems from
Oh, wow.
Nevermind, where they were already produced songs, and then they just got Dave in, and he just Daved it.
It's pretty. I know he didn't do Bleach, but it's kind of pretty impossible to think of Nirvana without him.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah,
But I don't know enough about super early Nirvana.
yeah. I
But
mean, this was like the original Foo Fighters drummer William. I
mhm.
can't remember his surname, but
Goldsmith,
William Goldsmith. Thank you. He talked about this on a podcast that I listened to recently, and
right?
he was just like, like Dave had that distinctive sound on the parts, but the parts were all there. Dave just
Mhm.
effectively played them, but he played them how Dave would play them,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
which I think's really cool. That he made those drum parts that were effectively not really his own,
Mhm.
and they gave it that distinct sound.
Do you know, it's pretty amazing that have you listened to the Unplugged album?
I have not in a long time, but I have listened to it.
He's even got a sound when he's playing brushes and rods.
Yeah,
Like he's
like
absolutely still Dave Grohl.
yeah, like
It's
it's literally just Dave Grohl with a set of brushes in his hand.
totally,
You know.
totally, and he's not hitting the drums super hard or anything like he would normally do, but he still sounds like him.
hmm
It's pretty amazing to watch.
He's just
Um,
got these little nuances. This is absolutely so far became a Dave Grohl love fest, but and quite
have
rightly so.
you during quarantine have you started listening or reading his Instagram? He's set
Um,
up an Instagram called Dave's True Stories.
oh, I've seen this. Yeah, I've not actually looked at any
You
yet
should.
though.
I read the first one today. It's amazing. It's all. It's just this tremendous, like 4-page story about fireworks when he was a wee guy and how he loved fireworks and how he absolutely ruined the 4th of July by buying a firework that was like absolutely mental and it fell over and pointed itself at all his neighbourhood. So he started firing fireworks at random people from his street and he had no idea who they were. Oh, it's brilliant. So yeah, Dave's True Stories. Check it out. It's absolutely brilliant. I think that's only
That's
the
phenomenal.
first one he's done, but
Oh, if that's how he's starting it off, I can't wait.
absolutely amazing. And it's funny because it's all about like how him and his pal go and buy this mixing desk to make the first Foo Fighters album, and it turns into this 4th of July rampage that he does on his entire street by accident. It's brilliant. Um, so yeah, it's
Uh,
an absolute. I mean, who else would break their leg and get back to playing?
oh, I saw that tour. I saw and I still the only gig that's topped it was their latest Foo Fighters gig where we could run about.
Do you know? I've
Like
never seen them.
you've never seen the Foo Fighters
No,
live?
I haven't. It's something I should
Wow.
correct.
Yeah, you should
And
correct
do you know
that
what I'm going to do as well?
ASAP.
Because of how cool he is, I'm going to link the video from the London iTunes Festival when he kicks the guy out for fighting.
Yes. Oh, you know that way. You ever have a moment where you just watch either someone or you meet someone and you just know from a certain moment that you're just like, I really like you.
Aye, that guy's
That was
amazing.
moment was for me.
Ah, he's brilliant. Um, segue as it happens, but you mentioned Butch Vig.
hmm
He also recorded the Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
cool.
recorded. I'm sure he recorded the first album Gish, but he definitely recorded Siamese Dream.
hmm
Um, and I think Jimmy Chamberlain has a sound like no one else.
hmm
He's another one of those guys that I think if you put him, and I've heard him in different situations where he absolutely just sounds like himself.
hmm
It's pretty rad.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I've heard you speaking a lot about Jimmy Chamberlain. I'm not much like you are with Dave. I'm maybe not as well clued up,
Mhm.
shall we say, about
Mhm.
Jimmy Chamberlain. So
Sure.
um, feel free to talk about that.
Well, I just think he's got like a really cool swing in his playing because he grew up playing lots of different stuff. He wasn't just a rock drummer. He was actually more like he used to play like polka and on TV shows and all sorts of weird stuff. He was a jobbing drummer coming up.
Oh, okay.
So he would and he was his brother's a drummer and I think his dad. I'm so nerdy, man. I think his dad was a clarinet player.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So he had quite a musical family then.
Absolutely, and a big jazz background. which I think you can absolutely hear in his playing, especially on the first two albums, because it's a bit it swings way more than kind of later. He's kind of
Yeah.
got back to that, but I also heard him play when he left the Pumpkins for a hot minute. He played in a band that did a single. Now I can't remember the song. I think it's either Another Brick on the Wall or School's Out. It might be School's Out, and they did it for the Scream soundtrack for the film Scream,
Right. Okay.
and they
Yeah.
they were called the Last Action Heroes or something. The band were called. It was, and he absolutely still sounded like Jimmy Chamberlain playing with
He
other
just
people.
smashed it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's that the way he tunes his snare drum and stuff is absolutely him. Like that snare sound is always the same. And it doesn't matter what, I've said this before, but it doesn't even matter what gear he plays on, much the same as Dave, you know. He's played everything from really Larry Mingin kits to high-end DWs. Jimmy recorded the first Pumpkins record on an export.
That's wild.
Uh,
I still can't get over that.
That's mental. You know, when you hear the drum sound, you're like, man, sounds absolutely amazing.
And that's like what, a £500 kit,
Yeah,
effectively.
they auctioned it off, I'm sure, recently, the last few years for charity. But yeah, it was like a Pearl Export thing he had mid end. I mean, they were slightly different shells at the time, but yeah, he recorded that album on one of those and absolutely still sounds like him, you know.
Yeah.
And now he's got whatever he wants, you know. He's played Sakai, he's played Zildjian, he's played Sabian, he plays Istanbul now, and he still just sounds like him. It's amazing. It's pretty.
That's pretty amazing.
It really is. It's like I think that's when you can tell the absolute artists, if you like, that they just sound like themselves. Matt Cameron from Soundgarden doesn't matter where you find him. He sounds, because he plays with Pearl Jam now as well. He still just sounds like him.
Yeah.
You can totally tell.
Do you think this might be kind of counterintuitive to what you've just said, but do you think like the likes of Jimmy and Matt chose their gear specifically because they knew it would be the sound that they wanted, hence why it sounds like them?
It's a good question. I don't know, because I know like they've gone through different things. You know, I know Matt Cameron played different brands. He played AO. He's played. There was a snare drum brand called Keplinger, who made really unique snares. He played Keplinger for years, but now he plays Yamaha.
Right.
You know, I think these guys just learn to play, and they just kind of sound like they sound. You know.
Yeah.
I think most of the best guys do. For me, it doesn't matter what they're on, they sound like themselves. Carter McLean, he's a prime example. He just sounds like himself.
It totally does, yeah. When you if you go through, as I often have, a Carter McLean binge on Instagram,
absolutely.
like way back to his days of playing George Way, I think, George Way drums. And then when he switched to Ludwig, it's just the only thing that changed was, for me anyway, was a visual component of it.
Pretty much, yeah.
The drums just look different, you know. The playing sounded exactly the same.
I don't know if you've watched him recently, but he's playing on like monster kits now. He's got like this,
oh, is he really?
like 10, 12, 30, 40, 60, 22 things set up.
Oh, wow.
And he's got like controlled sounds on, and he still sounds like him. You know what I mean? So I guess I don't know that the gear is that much of a factor, unless it's a signature product.
Yeah, maybe.
But you know, I don't really know the answer to that. You know, if it was things like electronics, then it's going to be different, I think, because they don't really make sound in the same way.
Yeah.
You know, so if you were playing for, what's the dude that plays for Anne Marie? Ollie Wiseman.
Ollie Wiseman, that's him. Yeah.
So like, he's got to play most of that on electronics, eh? So I don't know how.
I think for the most part, yeah.
I don't know how much he gets to carve out a sound, if you like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know that the guys like Ollie Wiseman get to cultivate a sound, really, do they? If they're on specific gear, you know. Especially if we talked to Alan Dale about gear being picked for the production.
Yeah.
You know, so if it's on a kit that they want, because it has to look a certain way, like your man George from the 1975, playing Yamaha. He's not. He's a Yamaha artist, but he's not playing Yamaha drums because that's
Yeah, because Yamaha don't make an acrylic kit.
no. But who knows, man? For that, it's interesting. No, it's interesting. It's interesting with signature products as well because Jimmy had a signature snare drum that they don't make now.
That's right,
I think it's in the recording custom range though. It's basically 14x5.5 aluminium. I think his. I think I can never remember if his was steel or aluminium. I have a sneaky suspicion it was aluminium. You know, it's just part of the range that they make now. You know,
it's pretty wicked.
Yeah, and Jason,
did you ever have one?
No, I didn't like them. It was super dry, man. I couldn't really get it to sound the way I wanted it to sound. I think when you buy these things, I wanted it to sound like Jimmy Chamberlain. I just don't. So I nearly bought one. I tried one out. I nearly bought it, but I passed on it. You know.
Yeah.
Do you think you've got Chad's signature snare, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And the biggest kind of thing that I got from that snare drum, probably because of the shell. Obviously, I wasn't as into gear as what I was, or into gear now as what I was then. Oh, sorry, no, strike that, reverse it. So I wasn't as into gear then as what I am now.
Right.
But yeah, like all the comments I always got about that snare drum was that it was loud.
Yeah.
And Chad was always known as a loud player, but then again, it was a steel shell. So I think
steel
can be quite loud.
I think he's another guy that's definitely got a sound. I think his sound has it's changed. If you listen to it.
Oh really?
Well, yeah. If you listen to Blood Sugar versus like the last album he put out, he was playing like piccolo snares and stuff back then. He was playing really thin, like 14x3, 14x4 snares. He was playing Pearl. Played Pearl for years and years and years. Now he's a DW guy, so he still sounds like him though.
Yeah,
but I think it's evolved.
Yeah, a lot.
How much of it do you think is down to things like the way they play parts or the way they write parts?
Ooh. Like, what do you mean? Like, give us an example.
Okay, so I'm thinking like, I'm a big fan of Death Cab for Cutie, and I think Jason McGuire's got a really cool sound. He sounds like him, but he also writes really, really interesting parts. So I don't think, if anyone else had played 50 Ways, apart from Steve Gadd, it just wouldn't have sounded the same.
True, yeah.
So, like, how much of it's to do with the way Taylor writes a part or the way Chad writes a part versus just, like, if they were all to just play the Billie Jean groove, you know what I mean?
Well, I guess so, yeah. Yeah, it's a really interesting thought process. That's like, if you were to listen to Travis Barker, or, like, if someone were to play over First Dates that wasn't Travis Barker. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and play it like those fill-ins he plays because of the way he has the drums set up and stuff. I don't know if their sound is in the part.
That's an interesting point, actually. Yeah,
like Ringo. Like I know, but we're not supposed to be talking about older guys because that's been talked to. It's been done to death. Everybody's talked about that. But imagine Jimmy playing "Come Together."
I mean, that would be awesome.
It would be, but it would not. Would it work? I guess is what I'm trying to come up. As part of his sound because of the way he writes parts for the Pumpkins, or the way he thinks about the drums in general.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess the only real way to know that is to hear them playing it, I suppose. But that would we'd need to invest in a time machine, probably.
Well, you saw that when the Foos, when they did Under Pressure, did Dave play the part? Did he play the drum part?
He did, yeah. And now that I'm thinking back, he did sound like him.
Right.
He didn't sound like Roger Taylor. He sounded like Dave Grohl playing Under Pressure.
Right. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. Do these guys, do they still sound like him? Or is it because of the parts they play? Would Roger Taylor sound like Roger Taylor if he was playing with the Kinks?
Right, yeah.
Would he still sound like Roger Taylor, or would he sound like? Would it work? It's kind of convoluted.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating to me.
What would be your fantasy? Like, who would you love to hear playing what song?
Okay. Oh man, what a question!
To be an ultimate troll, I would love to hear Neil Peart playing Billie Jean.
I bet he would nail it.
He would absolutely nail it, but I want him to have like I'm talking like the same setup he would have had,
Oh,
like
okay.
proper time machine.
I mean, in some respect, you can actually see some of the stuff on YouTube. You know, the first UK drum show where they had the Remo night,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
they had all these pro guys playing cover songs.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, they had a house band, and JR sat down and played Ain't Nobody with the band, and, you know, Andy Gangadine played Rock and Roll by Zeppelin, and
Mm-hmm.
the guy from the Blossoms played a Stone Roses song and weird stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Yamaha used to, I don't know if they still do, but the Groove Night they did at the NAMM show, where you could hear, like, Antonio Sanchez playing Good Times, Bad Times, or the Bonzo Bash they called it, rather. They did the Bonzo Bash. There was two things, they had the Yamaha Groove Night and the Bonzo Bash. And they would set up a Bonham kit, and
Right.
different guys would get up and play a Led Zeppelin song with the house band
Oh, cool.
on the Bonzo kit. So you can kind of check some of that stuff out, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to see someone get like Keith Carlock playing, you know, Stairway to Heaven or something. I don't know what song he played, but you get the idea. You know, guys that you wouldn't expect to play Bonham songs,
Yeah.
playing Bonham songs. I think the key for a lot of those guys is to just play the part, and it's going to come out like it comes out. You can't imagine trying to sound like Bonham, eh?
Oh man, that just no, thank you. I
No,
would
it's
fail
just,
that mission.
I think we all would. Most people
Yeah.
would. There's a couple of guys that do the cover band thing, not the cover band thing, the tribute band thing quite well, but you know it's quite difficult to get right.
Yeah, totally, totally.
I remember having
Um.
a conversation with a customer, a guy called John Halliwell, who plays for One Night at Queen,
Mm-hmm.
and getting right into the nitty gritty of a Roger Taylor part. I can't remember if You're My Best Friend, maybe, and there's like a single stroke roll thing. And the two of us are nerding out on trying to get it right because he has to get all these details down.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're unlike a lot of these things. There will be a guy out in the crowd who will pull them up
Absolutely,
about it.
absolutely.
You
I
know.
mean, yeah, absolutely. You know,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Who else do you think? Or okay, sorry. Before we go on to that, I'll put that question to you. Oh, you said Neil Peart, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think that would just be funny.
Yeah.
Same way I would love to hear Travis Barker playing Superstition
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I just think that would be funny as well.
Uh,
Like, or just it'd be interesting because that's like you said, both of them would absolutely nail it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's how they would nail it that I'd
Yeah.
be more interested in. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
I had written down because I wrote down a little list.
Right.
I had written down a guy called Ilan Rubin.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm a huge fan of Ilan Rubin. Ilan Rubin is, for those of you who maybe don't know who Ilan Rubin is, he is like more or less like a session guy, but I think he's one of those session guys that has a sound.
Right.
Case in point being, if you listen to Paramore's self-titled album, just Paramore by Paramore, essentially, he played on that album. And then if you were to listen to, I mean, granted, a lot of these bands are in the same genre, fair enough, but I think if you listen to like a band like Angels and Airwaves or even now Nine Inch Nails, because he plays for Nine Inch Nails, if you were listening to those, any song, probably, let's say for Paramore, their self-titled album, and then for Nine Inch Nails and Angels and Airwaves, their recent stuff,
Right.
I would say that there'd be, I could personally tell who it is playing the drums
Wow. Okay.
based on it because he just has such a distinctive sound, and he's a really incredible player as well. He plays open-handed,
Okay.
but he's also a phenomenal musician as all that as well. This is another love fest coming out, but he's an incredible player, and I think he does have that distinctive tone, especially in just the way he hits the drums.
Right.
Like he's by no means shy. He hits those drums, and I think that just adds to his tone. He's got a tone, I
Right.
think, and he's a phenomenal musician. But I could almost, you could almost put on any song that he's played on, and you'll know it's him before you've even realised. But I certainly know.
Do you think it's related to genre?
I don't know. I mean, he is known as like a kind of like a rock guy,
Right.
but he can do it all, man. He can do all the delicate stuff. I mean, you've heard that Paramore self-titled album. Like there is a couple of delicate little songs on that.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
That he just absolutely nails. And he's capable of it. So you know.
Yeah, I guess maybe what I'm getting at is that do the guys who work in the pop scene have as much chance to even think about a sound, or is it, because some of that stuff is so produced, they're just kind of replicating a live thing for, or so they're replicating a studio thing for a live situation,
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, Ash Soane's an example of a guy who absolutely in that field, I think, has a sound.
Oh yeah, big time, yeah.
And that's probably why he's hired. I would think that's why he's hired. I think that's, people would call him because he sounds like that.
Yeah, big time.
But then if you're doing the new, Dua Lipa gig or something, are you just replicating parts? I don't know.
It's a really interesting one. In fact, when you're talking about Ash Soane, I'm actually going to look for it right now because he put up a really fascinating thing on his Instagram last month.
Right.
So you know that song, "Set Fire to the Rain" by
Sure.
Adele.
Uh-huh.
So Ash played on that.
Yeah, that's right.
If you couldn't tell by the playing, but he did. I would actually like to see him do more of this stuff if he's able. But he put up like the snare drum that he used on that song.
Right.
Like he put like this is the snare drum that was used on this song with the song playing over the top of it. It's like a photo, but it's really interesting because like I know certainly for me, I'm interested in knowing what gear guys used on what particular sessions and things.
Yeah. Yeah.
To see again, I suppose that could then add it to whether they have a distinct sound because of the gear or because of X, Y, and Z or whatever. But it's interesting because they used a Maple Custom. Maple Custom absolute 14 by 5.5 snare drum on
right. Okay.
On that, so,
well, there you go.
Which I think is quite cool.
Ah.
So I mean, if not that Ash would listen to this, or maybe he would, I don't know. But if he does more of that stuff, I think that's really interesting. I think a lot of studio guys would be really, and drummers watching studio guys would be quite interested.
Yeah, they probably have to be careful, endorsements and all that.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it's fascinating to me about all that stuff. I think they just have to do what's necessary for the track or the album or whatever it is they're doing. It's, maybe would they have time to do it?
Yeah.
I think we've spoken about this before, but I remember listening to. I saw Kenny Aronoff years ago, 2005 or something, talking about recording for Alanis Morissette. And he had to do the whole album in like one day and make it sound. He was the last guy to record, which is crazy.
What? So they'd record. Wait, what?
The whole album was done apart from drums. So he then went in and did the drums. I can't remember if he was redoing the drums or if they just had demos and the rest of the album was recorded. And the way it worked out was he was only available on this date, so they did everything else, and then he goes in last. But he had to make it sound like he was the first guy to record. So you're not getting, you know what I mean? No pressure.
Yeah.
So you're not getting to mess around with gear and stuff. You just have to go. You just have to do it because you've got like 12 tracks to do in a day.
Yeah. And then Kenny was probably having to fly off to like Singapore or something.
Yeah. Something crazy, be a judge on a TV show or something. But then,
yeah, probably.
But then guys like Ash can do that. They can put up, here's what I used and here's why I used it. Quite fascinating. And he's another guy that absolutely sounds like him because I've seen him play Yamaha drums and then I've seen him play Gretsch drums. I've also seen him play Sakai drums as well. So he absolutely sounds like himself.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Regardless of what it is that he's playing on, So. It's fun.
Would you say would Neil Wilkinson also?
Yes, aye.
Is that?
Aye, for sure. I think he's got an amazing ability to be individual and sound like himself, or be an absolute chameleon and just do whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever is necessary.
So for those listening who don't know who Neil Wilkinson is, he currently plays for James Morrison.
Yeah,
but he's done countless.
Yeah, he's one of the UK's top session players and stuff. We've had him in clinic before. He's amazing. He talking about someone playing Superstition. He did that. He sat down and played that for the audience, and note for note, it was just flawless.
Wow,
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he absolutely counts. And again, I've seen him play different drums. I've seen him play Yamaha, Sakai. He's on the Gretsch now. He's kind of followed the same path as Ash in that respect a wee bit. And he's, absolutely amazing, you know.
Phenomenal player.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I put out, I posed this question on the socials earlier on today, asking drummers which drummers they think have a sound.
Right.
So I've got some quite interesting responses actually. Chris Rorty has said Thomas Pridgeon.
Oh, okay.
Matt Halpern, Alan Rubin, of course. He's also said James Trude, who currently plays for Dua Lipa.
Oh, okay.
Having a distinctive kind of sound. And he's mentioned a few others as well. But I definitely agree with Thomas Pridgeon because you can tell it's him a mile away on the Mars Volta.
Right. I haven't listened to him enough, so I don't know.
Yeah. For me, his paradiddles are just distinctive. They're just outrageous.
I got through the first 3 of their albums and didn't check out much after John Theodore left.
Yeah.
But I should.
Callum Ryan drums. Hi Callum.
Hi, Callum.
It's Coach Ryan. Love him or hate him, but Ringo definitely has a sound.
Yeah, of course.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
But that goes without saying.
Yeah.
Thomas Muir drums. Sorry if I butchered your name, Thomas. Vinnie Paul.
Okay.
Totally agree with that. Our Jake, has said Tommy Aldridge. Because he's played for like Whitesnake and Ozzy and Ted Nugent.
Nugent.
And Thin Lizzy, and you always kind of know it's him by his sound.
He is amazing.
Yeah, he's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
You just need to look at his sticks and just know that he's amazing.
He got a standing O at the UK drum show.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, the only drummer to get a standing O. And he just I can't even remember what Whitesnake song he played, but he just blew the roof off the place. It was amazing. Very good. Aye.
Very, very good. Ben Neenan says Dave Grohl, of course. Bycroft 1234 said Ash Sohn. Here's one that I think you'll want to entertain. Oliver Mike Glard. Sorry if I butchered your name. Danny Carey.
Absolutely. From early Tool to new Tool, it just sounds like him. His right cymbal, absolutely the same cymbal through most of it.
What is it?
I think it's a Paiste signature heavy ride. I think. Can't remember off the top of my head, but it's like super dry and pingy, and it absolutely sounds like him. What's interesting talking about gear, it's interesting how his setup's changed because he doesn't play toms at the top now. He plays rototoms. So he's got 2 bass drums, snare drum, 2 floor toms, rototoms, and then some weird electronics round about him and all that. But he absolutely sounds like him. Cymbals is really distinct. Like you can really tell they're Paiste. That's super clean, super bright, cut through everything, you know.
And is it Sonar he plays?
Yes, that is Sonar he plays.
What series?
SQ2.
SQ2.
Yeah, I don't know what shells he plays on the bass drums and floor toms. He has his own signature snare, or he did. I don't know if they still make it. It was a 14x8 bronze.
We had one of those in the shop actually,
like 2 weeks ago or something. Yeah, amazing. So yeah, he absolutely sounds like himself. You know.
What's your favourite Tool album?
Oh, there's a question. Lateralis probably, which is the 3rd album. Big fan of 10,000 Days, but I think Lateralis has just got more songs on it.
Right.
10,000 Days has a lot of atmospheric nonsense and all that stuff. I like the new one, but Lateralis is probably the best one. Yeah.
Do you think that album highlights Danny's drumming the most?
Yes, I do. It's very, like, you can hear the progression from Undertow to Enema to Lateralis, and then from Lateralis onwards, it's kind of all very similar, you know. But you can definitely hear the progression from how even his sound has changed from Undertow to through the records.
Yeah,
big time. I think Enema is the most drummy album, not drummy album, the most sort of mainstream, if you like. It's not too mental with time signatures and stuff. It's more like it's more of a metal album.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And
yeah.
then it starts to get a bit more like the songs are longer and they take a while to get to where they're going, and then they kind of explode and then they're finished.
Yeah.
You know, more of a prog metal album. You know,
That's interesting. I think it would be a sin if I didn't mention Steve Jordan, because
Right, yeah.
he's one of those guys. I think that, again, probably like Ringo, is just, it goes without saying, he absolutely has a distinctive sound.
yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
Do you think guys are hired on a gig purely because of how they sound?
I think some people are, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think Josh Freese gets hired because he can sound like anything, really. He can do that
Right.
pop thing, or he can do that rock thing, or, you know, he's got a specific thing he's hired for. Matt Chamberlain's got a thing he's hired for. You know, Ash will have a thing, a sound that he's hired for, you know. You know, yeah, absolutely do. You could kind of go round the houses on it. You know, there's tons of people we haven't mentioned, Jim Keltner and stuff. You know, all these session guys. You know, Vinny.
Vinny was on my list, actually. Vinny.
Yeah.
I just butchered his name. yeah.
Vinny Collicutter. Yeah, I think they absolutely are hired for their sound and what they can. I mean, Vinny's hired because he can do anything, like literally anything.
Yeah.
You know,
A bit of an alien.
Yeah, pretty much. Bit of a freak, but in the best possible way, you know. Yeah, so
big thing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if anyone has any other, these are obviously just ones that we've came across and people have suggested.
Yeah.
But if anyone else has any other suggestions of who they think, they can certainly let us know. Whether it be in the review section of the podcast.
Yeah. And bear in mind, this is our opinion as well, eh?
Yeah, of course, yeah, and obviously opinions are subjective. So, but these are just a few guys that we think, guys and gals, I suppose, who we think have a sound.
Yeah.
Cindy Blackman, I would say, has a sound. Big
for
thing.
sure, man. Definitely.
So yeah.
Okay. If you have anything you'd like us to talk about, let us know, and we'll do our best. If this works, certainly we'll do our best to do more and chat through stuff. We'll maybe even try and get some guests on.
Yeah, big time. If people could let us know as well if they think it works. Because so far it seems to be working.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah.
Aye. But hey, we'll leave it there for today because we've both got stuff to do. And we'll just see you next time. Where can people find us, mate?
So people can find us 24/7 on drummersonly.co.uk. They can find us on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter at drummersonlyuk. They can drop us an email at info@drummersonly.co.uk. At the time of recording this, both stores are of course closed due to COVID-19, so unfortunately you won't be able to visit the stores, but when you're able, we're here in Glasgow and Leeds. Other than that, drop us a line, drop us an email, drop us a message, and take care.
Yeah. Do so. Stay safe. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.